I kind of have like this weird proof of concept deck that we're gonna play in a league here that is kind of preparing for Avatar. I've got the PowerPoint built. That's the other one. So I've got the PowerPoint built. I haven't recorded with it yet. If today's stream is short, maybe I'll record today. If the challenge goes longer, then I'll probably record tomorrow. So it's looking like I could probably get it together Saturday, Sunday at the very latest. So I've got the Spider-Man PowerPoint together. I'm not going to go through the whole thing, but one card I am really excited about is Price of Freedom. It's basically an extra copy of Cleansing Wildfire, and so I'm excited about getting to play like 8 copies of Cleansing Wildfire and getting a little weird with it. I think you can get a lot more normal with it than this, but I just had a little bit of a vision when working on the PowerPoint yesterday for a Ral deck that seeks to play Ral a bit more fairly. Ral is a really powerful card. Obviously, goes really well in Storm, but I've always kind of been interested in seeing if we could play a more proactive, maybe proactive is not the right word, a more interactive version of Ral where the Ral ultimate is still proactive, because the Ral ultimate has to be proactive because you can't ult into like a bunch of counter spells. And so I had this vision of like ulting the Ral into and hitting like your 8 Cleansing Wildfires, maybe also Geomancer's Gambit, and like some Sundering Eruptions in your mana base too. So you get to ultimate the Ral and blow up a bunch of your opponent's lands. And so there's a chance like we just play this deck with the 8th Cleansing Wildfire once that comes out. But I figured that we have enough support to kind of try an early version of this today. So this is kind of like this is not I'm calling it Pseudostorm, because you are just going to be able to like Manamorphose, cantrip into another Manamorphose, chain stuff together, ultimate Ral, kill all your opponent's stuff with like Unholy Heats and Flames off of your turn and also off your Ral ult, then blow up all your opponent's lands, and eventually win the game with like questing Druids and Dragon Rage's Channelers. Like this is you're going to have these big turns where you really pop off and go over the top. And in the meantime, you're playing cheap threats like DRC and Tamiyo. You are getting good mana advantage from your Rals and your Barals, and card advantage from your Seek the Beast and Flame of Anor's, removal from your Unholy Heat and Flame of Anor's. And you're also just blowing up your opponent's lands to interact with the combo decks, and to some extent to kind of lock out some of the slower mid-range decks that are popular at the moment. But having the 11 main deck Cleansing Wildfires, if you count the Sundering Eruptions, but the Eruptions are also lands, so I don't know if you super duper count them. Yeah, so I guess let's talk about the sideboard a little bit. So Flashfreeze is a card I'm trying out really hard today. I think it's a card I like a lot when you have got Baral and Rao, where you could just hold it up for 1 mana. I was really interested in having extra sideboard cards for both Titan and Prowess. Those are 2 matchups I'm kind of concerned about. And my mind went to Aether Gust for a little bit, and I was thinking, Aether Gust used to be such a nice sideboard card against Titan. This kind of deck would have really liked it. I think when Mystic Sanctuary was around, that made some more sense. But also, like, that was also a time where Amulet Titan players just kind of always played a Cavern of Souls, and Counter Magic wasn't as good against them because they just remembered the Cavern of Souls. Lately, Titan players do not remember the Cavern of Souls. And just the fact that this can counter Titan or it can counter Scapeshift, I think is a really big deal, while also being like a pretty reasonable cyber card against Prowess. It isn't like too amazing or anything, but I think like being able to go like Ra with Flash Freeze up or Baral with Flash Freeze up is going to be a pretty good sequence against them. I don't know if there's going to be too many other matchups where you really want to bring this in. I may be forgetting something kind of big, but that's mostly what this is. So it's just kind of trying that tech. I think the Shatterstorms are particularly good, where you get to go turn 2 Rala Baral, turn 3 Shatterstorm against Affinity. I think that ends up being a pretty nice sequence. I'm also really liking Narset for the Quantum Riddler decks, so I think it's a good spot to go in on those. Okay, we got a match. We're on the draw. Let's get in there. Did you see you could Earthbend an MDFC and it comes back as the front side when it dies? Okay, I did not. I did know that. I guess that just makes sense. I know that Earthbending plus fetch lands is pretty interesting. There aren't really many MDFCs that you would, I think, care a lot to do that with, but maybe there's some. Yeah, I'm really excited for Avatar. I'm I'm a fan of the Spider-Man IP. I'm a fan of the Avatar IP too, and it's like I think these last two sets really do show like quality just matters so much more than is it Universes Beyond versus is it a normal Magic IP. Like just the quality matters so much. It's like I think it's just the only thing that matters. But I've been saying for years, like, you know, there's good all right, I guess we're gonna play around here. There's good Universe Beyond sets. There are bad Universe Beyond sets. There are good regular in-universe sets. There are bad in-universe sets. And that's all that really matters, is that the sets have quality and a lot of thought and a lot of care put into them. And if they do, then they're going to be good, and if they don't, they're going to be bad. And I think the contrast between Spider-Man and Avatar is like, it's just so clear that one of these sets had a lot of thought and care put into them, and the other one was pretty rushed. I'm answering a WotC survey, including among negative content creators. Thank you. I'm really trying to lead the negative content creator coalition. Earthbend Drowner of Truthland. Oh right, yeah, the Drowner of Truthland. You don't get the spawn tokens, right? That's a cast trigger. Yeah, there's the Sideboard Freyleys too. It's interesting. I do think as far as like earthbending cards go, there aren't that many that are that impressive in the context. I should just close this one. That impressive in the context of Modern. I would have attacked with the DRC for sure to bluff the mutagenic growth. There aren't that many in the context of Modern, but I do think Badgermole Cub is really, really, really good. And like, I think the only other one that I saw that really has maybe a little bit of potential is Earthbender Ascension. I think this one probably not going to be quite good enough. Okay, well, let's go ahead and Flame of Anor, kill a DRC, and well, so I guess we have to kill a Channeler, since this is going to give them Delirium, and then the Channeler is going to be online. I did flip the Ral, so I could maybe just minus on a Swift Spear. Could also Cleansing Wildfire now. If I plus. If I minus, they're going to Lava Dart the Ral, which I don't necessarily love. The Cleansing Wildfire also doesn't seem like it's doing very much. Making them use a Lava Dart now could be pretty good. Oh, they just don't even do it. Okay. Yeah, Avatar comes out on Tuesday. Yeah, so we've been talking a little bit about Change the Equation versus Flashfreeze. I did forget Change the Equation exists when I registered Flashfreeze. That being said, like, Flashfreeze does counter Cultivator Colossus, and Flashfreeze counters Green Sun X = 6. And Change doesn't do that. And for a card that's mostly like trying to counter the payoffs and Titan, the fact that it doesn't counter a decent chunk, I think Flashfreeze is better. Like, Change the Equation could come in against like Living End and maybe a few other matchups too, but I think for the most part, I think I just want my sideboard card to do what I was wanting it to do. That makes sense. Okay, so we're gonna cut the Geomancer's Gambits for sure. I think I would like to get the Cleansing Wildfires out of here and just not really be playing this plan so much. Although maybe it's gonna be hard to play all of them. You can play Fire Magics, they're not amazing. Maybe just could play the first Narset. They're a preordained deck. For Avatar, do you think Badgermole Cub is good enough for doubling up on Saga? Doubling up on Saga or Fetches by itself, or more of a build around where you want other dorks? So Badgermole Cub on like just on a fetch land to ramp. Like, that's gonna be a pretty good sequence, I think. I think just having a 2-mana 2/2 that ramps you and will also ramp you some more with like other mana dorks. I think that's going to be by itself pretty reasonable. I think that if you're going to play Badgermole Cub in your deck, I think on Urza Saga also, I don't think I cared that much about it. I think there's a lot of ways to let me see their top card before I bobble. Not that although I'm just always going to just bottom any non-land. Sorry, what was I talking about? So if you have Badgermole Cub in your deck, I think you are going to have other mana dorks, probably. I would be pretty surprised if that wasn't the case. But I think for the most part, you would want to have that, and so that doesn't necessarily mean you need to play like Birds of Paradise and Hierarchs and that kind of stuff. I actually don't think the card is going to be good in Elves. By the way, I think the card is like notably worse than Priest of Titania in Elves, or I would imagine it's like mostly worse than Priest of Titania in Elves, and I don't really feel like this is like the kind of effect that I'm even necessarily very interested in Elves. It's like an effect that we already kind of have, and it's not an elf. And also like with Elves, like you're not really making that much extra mana because it's that your main sources of mana in Elves are Heritage Druid and Priest of Titania, and Badger Cub isn't particularly good with those cards. It's like you just get one extra. It's like 3 to 4 and like 6 to 7 instead of just like 2, 2, 2, 2. I digress. So I think the cards that will work well with Badger Cub are like Dryad Arbor and like Green Sun for Dryad Arbor. Mostly Dryad Arbor. There might be like honestly that might be the kind of end of the list, but like I think just being able I think the fact that Badger Cub is good with fetch lands and then you can like fetch a Dryad Arbor, and I think that dynamic is kind of interesting too. Would change the equation to counter Johnny be good enough? Also counter second frog. Yeah, I don't know. Like I just don't know that would be a big part of my plan in those kind of matchups. But if it was, then you could consider it. But honestly, I am like I would be pretty nervous that like my Flash Freeze effect does not counter Green Sun or Cultivator Colossus. That just is like a solid chunk, you know. You could have played it on the Spell Pierce. I think it was okay, not too. Probably going to keep another channeler here. I spoke with a 68. Thank you. Welcome back. Have I seen the Walls deck Dingo kept playing us yesterday? I wasn't able to tune into Dingo stream very much. Thank you. I spoke for the 68 months. Hope you're doing well. I wasn't able to tune in for very long. I did not see the Walls deck. Let me go ahead and in my instep seek the beast so we don't run into another Spell Pierce. This Heritage Druid. This Badger Cup Heritage Druid tap for 4 or 6 mana. So you go tap for 2, untap, tap for 2. There's 4 total, right? Yeah. Well, we don't want a third one of those. So we hit a Channeler and a Flame of Anor. Don't have blue mana for Flame or a Wizard. Heritage Druid doesn't work. Well, I mean, you tap for an extra mana, right? It doesn't go infinite, right? So my opponent is plotting a Slickshot Show Off, playing an Arid Mesa. That's the 4th Channeler. I think I'd like to keep up the 2nd Heat so we can play around in Mutagenic Growth. It only works on abilities with a tap ability. Yeah, but doesn't Heritage Druid... Oh, sorry, I'm thinking of Devoted Druid. It doesn't even affect Heritage Druid at all. Okay, then I would say Badger Club at that point definitely like... I don't think it makes really almost any sense in Elves. I know that's kind of like the surface level. Like you see, oh, it works with creatures that tap for mana. It must be good in Elves, but like it doesn't work with either of Elves. I mean, it actually does not work with Priest of Titania at all because just any other elf would let Priest of Titania tap for 1 extra mana. So I guess it works with Dryad Arbor and Elves. Thank you, Bartoni, for the 42. It's good to be back. It's really good to be back. The Yogg Broodscale decks are green Saga decks that could use Badger Bulk Up. Okay, let's go ahead and heat this now before they get the Surveils by any responses. Yeah, again, I do want to see that. I do want to see the wall deck that's being alluded to here. I could keep that. You know, basically 0 mana, Surveil 2, draw a card. I think I'm going to let this Surveil resolve, then heat the Channeler. If you Earthbend a Ghost Quarter, then Springheart that, can you make a bunch of Ghost Quarters? Yeah, so I have there are some interesting loops with Springheart Nantuko and Earthbending. Which I'm going to talk about in the YouTube video. I'm going to record today if today's stream is shorter, and then I'm going to record tomorrow if today's stream is longer. And I should probably be able to post it. I think I could commit to having the Avatar video out by tomorrow. I don't necessarily foresee any delays, but you never know what's gonna happen, I guess. Boston went to 58. It does feel really good to be back. I had a great time on the honeymoon, but I am so happy to be back. I just really love love what I do, and to be missing your day job on the best vacation you've ever taken is a pretty good place to be. But I guess we just want to say no to that also. I'm gonna make a green mana so we can play this questing druid. Turnpike with the 51 months. Thank you. Welcome back. Brew with Molded Mutate, because if you mutate on the land and it gets removed, the whole stack will return as separate game objects. No, I didn't end up going to a Yuya. Our like shopping days and like exploration days ended up being like a little bit shorter because we had like other stuff scheduled that we didn't have time to get to. I did pop into a couple like card shops when we were in Akihabara, and some of those card shops did have Magic, but most of them didn't. We just like random TCG shops. I did actually buy some Return to Ravnica packs because they were actually pretty cheap, and I just love Return to Ravnica. So I bought some Return to Ravnica packs there, but that was about all the Magic shopping I did. Yeah, we went to Japan for the honeymoon. I have no cards in my hand, opponent. I'm going to pay 3. We went to Japan. We went to Tokyo, Kyoto, Nara, Osaka, the lake around Mount Fuji, and then also Kamakura. It was great. So playing a show off, I do have a blocker for the show off. They've got 2 other cards in their hand. They do have a Lava Dart in the yard. They leave the show off back to block. Let's fire off this Manamorphose. It was a great trip. All right, another 0 mana. Surveil 2, draw a card. All right, it's going to be good enough for me. Oh, this is also going to flip the Tamiyo. Probably the 27 months. Yeah, it was great. It was just awesome. Very, very refreshing time. The beautiful country. Friendly people. Mostly enjoyed like the time I got to spend out in nature over there. All right, going to game 3. How's the jet lag? It hit me kind of bad after the stream yesterday. It's not as bad as it was going there, but it's definitely hitting me kind of hard. If I go to Japan for the honeymoon, I'd probably come back with a divorce. Sorry to hear that. Yeah, we did go to Nara, which has the deer. They're just kind of wandering around the city. That was Esther's favorite part of the whole trip. It was very cool. They did headbutt me a couple times, but not super hard. Okay, I like this hand. This is the kind of hand that I think wants to go hold up Flashfreeze on turn 2 and then try to go Ral into double Manamorphose and pop off a bit. Maybe too slow on the draw against prowess, but I think this is a hand that we've been given and the hand we're going to have to keep. Maybe I could have Steamman's tapped here, but I do kind of want them to think maybe I have interaction, and maybe if they have a slick shot show off, they would plot the show off instead of casting it this turn. So I think that's enough reason to play the Foothills instead of the Steamman's tapped. They're pretty rude deer. Yeah, so there's a mix. A lot of the deer were pretty polite, and some of the deer were like, "Give me crackers." But Esther loved the deer. She liked the rude deer too. The rude deer I think were her favorite. I've missed the PowerPoint video for Avatar so much. It'll be coming out. I've made the PowerPoint. I'm gonna give the set like a third or fourth once over. Just make sure there was nothing I missed, or maybe I always miss something, but try to make sure there's as little missed as possible. And then I can record today if today's stream is shorter, if we like O2 the challenge, and if today's stream is longer, I'm gonna try to record tomorrow. This list is nuts. How did I even land here? Mostly from like talking about the Avatar set yesterday during my recording. I just kind of had like the vision for the deck and wanted to get it going. Do I seek the beast here? I think it's okay to seek the beast. I'd be pretty happy if this traded for a Spell Pierce, I think. Alright, so we hit a Bauble and we hit a Sundering Eruption, which we can't actually play as a land, right? Oh, we can play as a land. That's interesting. I think I'm just going to go play this tapped, play the Bauble, hold up the Flashfreeze. They have a Slick Shot show off plotted. And then next turn we can try to go Ral into Manamorphose, Flame of Anor, with Flashfreeze up if they continue to not commit. Avatar is live on Magic Online on Tuesday. There is an early access event on Magic Online. I'm going to crack this now in case I like draw Bauble or Heat or something on my turn. The Swift Spear is a little bit scary. There is an early access event on Magic Online technically right now. The problem is, I have to download a separate client to play it, and I can't play the main client at the same time. And it also ends around noon, so it would be like a short stream, and like the download time would mean I couldn't play normal after. So I decided just no early access this time. Also, the problem with early access too is that you don't really play against. Maybe not, the word is not real decks, but you don't really play against tier 1 decks, or like everyone's just playtesting the new cards. So I don't feel like you really get a good playtested necessarily. Yeah, the Owl card seems really, really, really good. I think that's going to be the best card in the set. Okay, thankfully they don't do too much more. I'm a little bit worried about them bolting the round, maybe. Maybe I don't need to be that worried about it. Established archetypes, yeah, that's probably the better way to phrase that. So we can go. So we're going to start off by casting Manamorphose. And then do I just let them crack the fetch first? Maybe they're not going to do anything. They're just not doing anything? Interesting. Alright, let's going to cast the second Manamorphose now. Make red probably. I guess I could make green-red and then play a Questing Druid. Probably not going to play a Questing Druid here. So I don't have Delirium. So I don't necessarily want to play this Channeler before the Fire Magic. So I did flip the Ral. Any Avatar cards immediately catch my attention? There are some. I've got the video coming out soon. Yeah, I think the Fire Magic will probably be able to kill the Swift Spear after this. So I don't think I need to like respawn and cast double Fire Magic here. Yeah. So they don't actually have Delirium, so this doesn't even kill my Ral. And I don't have Delirium myself, so I don't want to go DRC then Fire Magic, because that kills my DRC. So we'll just go Fire Magic then DRC. They've got 3 cards left. I'm at 8 live. I did good, squad. Good to be back. So there's a Steel Cutter, which is kind of scary. 3 cards in their hand after this. They're probably going to kill the Ral, and if they do kill the Ral, we do get Delirium, which is interesting. They reveal Lava Dart, and they do have a land, so bad news. I do think the buttons are an improvement to okay. I agree. I was definitely a little bit surprised to come back and see that there had been such a big change, but I think overall, I'm in favor. So I don't have a wizard in play for the flame. Let's look for the beast. Maybe at an awkward time flipping over the Flashfreeze here, huh? Lava Dart makes no sense pre-combat. The token has trample. No, they need to kill my DRC pre-combat because if they kill the Ral, I have Delirium and it doesn't kill it anymore. I'm honestly kind of cooked here. Like, I kind of have to shock, and then I'm kind of dead if I do, so. I guess I'm only winning this game if they're pretty flooded, so I'm going to go ahead and just kill the Steel Cutter here and hope for the best. Let's see. Challenge starts in 15 minutes. Hopefully that's enough time for another match if we do lose this one. If I'm going to try Riftbound at all, I don't think I'm necessarily going to take a lot of time out of my day to try Riftbound. I'm not like completely opposed to it. You're dead. I'm not completely opposed to it, but the lack of like a good online client is really tough for me because I know that even if I do learn to play Riftbound, it's not going to be necessarily something I can stream very easily. I have my own game I'm working on that is taking most of my secondary gaming time up, and I've got Avatar coming out, but I would be kind of open to it. But I spent most of my off-stream time yesterday working on the PowerPoint. Oh, I didn't know Kibler worked on Riftbound. That's cool. All right, going to be a good Cleansing Wildfire matchup. Let's go ahead and get a basic Mountain, I think, with the Breeding Pool in hand. Definitely no complaints seeing them naturally draw one of their basics here. A K command on turn 2. Just pin this Kosk. Now, if this was the new Avatar, Cleansing Wildfire, being able to go Baral into Wildfire next turn would be pretty cool. Jerut, the 10 months, thank you, welcome back. Tried my hand at revisiting feature combo with Mox Opal Legend. Sure, I'll take a look. Yeah, it's been a while since we've played it. I have thought a little bit about it. But I don't necessarily, not necessarily a believer, I guess. But I'd like to be. Talisman of Curiosity. I think main deck Surgical right now is good in any deck playing Forethought Season 2 Inquisition. It sounds like a pretty specific deck. I do agree that Surgical is kind of an interesting option at the moment. Any deck playing main deck 2 Forethought Season 2 Surgicals or 2 Inquisition. Let's see. They grab an Ice Till. I think I'm pretty happy with that with me having the Flame in my hand. I'm hoping that that's what they play next turn. I guess I'm gonna get a Steam Vents and go Baral plus Wildfire. Yes, yeah. So in the Avatar set, there's a new. It's Cleansing Wildfire. It can't target your own stuff, but it can also target artifacts. And it is also a lesson, which isn't the most relevant, but it isn't necessarily irrelevant either. And so I built this deck kind of in preparation for that. And I do think that you don't have to get this weird with it if you were gonna play that card, but I'm always interested in getting a little weird with it on the earlier ideas. Okay, happy to see another Ice Till since we know they have another one in the hand. I love Orb and Unctus digging for Fate Stitcher. Yeah, I remember I liked Unctus too. I'll say that I don't necessarily think this is a good Pinnacle Emissary deck. Maybe there's something I'm missing, but I feel like you have it seems to me having Emissary and Steel Cutter alongside the Fate Stitcher plan is weird because you have so many cards that are just shitty at beating down, and then you also have cards that like really need your whole deck to be a beat down deck. So it seems like you can get your stuff broken up kind of well potentially. So I feel like on all of my drafts I've been just in on the. I guess the overlap is that Unctus helps your Emissary plan, but maybe that's enough. I don't know, but for me in all of my drafts I've been really in on the just the combo. I haven't really been combo plus beatdown. They played 2 Eldrazi Temples here and a Talisman. Another Cleansing Wildfire. Hopefully they're out of basics. They do have another Ice Till in their hand. They're not out of basics either. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I guess they just don't have an artifact in their yard, so killing a talisman doesn't help me beat Emrakul, so I'll just go kill Ice Till, Flame. Now we have Delirium, so we can kill the new Ice Till when it comes down. I'm hoping we get more Learn cards and Strix. I think it seems like almost for sure we're going to get more Learn cards in Strixhaven. It seems pretty intentional that was the sequence we had was Avatar set with lessons and then Strixhaven's coming out later. Although it is like it's not the next set, right? The next set is Lorwyn. So it's kind of a big gap, I guess. So they play a land and then they play the Ice Till. It's kind of interesting. Then they play the Temple. Well, they've already played all of their lands for turn, so I don't really need to heat right now. Seems like maybe we're just gonna get Emrakul though. Yeah, I don't like to look at Spider-Man or Avatar Brews before I've started to deck build. I've done the PowerPoint. I haven't done the deck building yet, but I don't like to look at brews for new cards because I really like to build my own decks for the new set. It's a little corny, but I just really love it. I really just don't want. It's like I almost get spoiled when I see new brews. All right, so the challenge is starting in 6 minutes. We may run out of time this match, but that's okay. Strixhaven probably has some of the lower power lessons too to make it more balanced for limited. Maybe. Yeah, maybe. It's an interesting thought. I would love to see a learn deck which has some ability to have a lesson board. So I do think that there's enough lessons that if you had a really efficient learn card, you could play it. But the learn cards that exist right now, there are 3 that are kind of okay, and they mostly just aren't that good. Unless Divide by Zero might somehow be like a little bit of a sleeper, but I don't really think so. It did get banned in Standard, so I do think could be a little overlooked. I know that there have been some people who have played it in Modern. How much time did it take at first to get started on streaming on Twitch / uploading to YouTube / screen setup? How long did it take? I don't know. You just get like a little bit, all the time. Like the actual process of learning, like how to set up a stream and installing the Streamlabs and setting it up, like that took a few hours, and you just learn like a few more skills all the time. You upgrade your equipment slowly. It's not something that like I think most people are just want to go all in on immediately. Oh, sorry, I would have got Delirium if I just main phase this first. Walking and talking here. Like as far as like YouTube wins, like there was a long time where I would stream 5 days a week, and then I would record a separate video for YouTube on the weekend. That I really didn't enjoy doing that very much, but that's what I was doing. And then eventually Gloom, who's my editor, reached out, and he just handles all the YouTube and edits the VODs, which is incredibly helpful for the process. Yeah, it just all comes together slowly. I wouldn't necessarily, if you're trying to get into streaming, worry about the speed of things, and I would just try to naturally spend some time learning. Ahmed with the 62 months, welcome back. Good to be back. How does Urza Saga work with Earthbending? When it goes to the graveyard, it comes back. I don't really think that's all that important, honestly. I think, in the MH2 era, slowly recurring an Urza Saga was like a somewhat viable way to spend your turns playing Magic the Gathering, but I think we've like it used to be like Urza Saga was so good because like making a Saga token every turn was like close enough to on par with like the average power level of a turn that it was really like a lot of card advantage for decks like Jund Saga. The card advantage was really meaningful because even though it was like a little less powerful than the average turn, it was powerful enough to kind of keep on tempo while drowning your opponent in advantage. Now with the power level of like Ajani and Quantum Riddler and Psychic Frog, just to name a few, not to mention all of the Eldrazi cards, you're just not keeping up. You're just casting Courser's Accord, and it's embarrassing. So I mostly don't recommend another K command, dude. It's just whenever they cast 2K commands, you can never win. Although maybe my draw's a bit awkward, anyways. Maybe my deck's a bit awkward. Again, this could be the new Avatar card. Maybe we'll pick this idea back up when the new Avatar card comes out. I think against the Kahira, I'll keep this hand actually. I thought this was just any counter. Zao is a Blood Moon. Okay. Good catch. That was definitely how I read it in Japan. Savage mana. I'm gonna try Beaver Cup Elves. My hot take is that Beaver is not an Elves card at all. The Beaver doesn't help the Elves mana engine. It doesn't work with Heritage Druid at all. It makes Priest of Titania tap for 1 more mana, which is the same as any other Elf. It works with Dryad Arbor, which is something. And obviously you do play some Elvish Mystics in your Elves deck, but for the most part, your Elf mana engine is reliant on Priest of Titania, and it's reliant on Heritage Druid. Those are your main 2 mana sources, and the fact that Beaver Cub is worse than Priest of Titania, I think for the most part. Although maybe I'm wrong about that. I think I'm just not excited about it. Right, I think we just Geomancer's Gambit this turn. So I do think that Beaver has other build arounds it can go in. I think what's exciting about Beaver too is that you get to play it. You get to play it in shells where it gets to be a bit more of a build around, and it gets to be more of a you get to play higher card quality than Elves too. But I am a believer that it is just not a card that you would. Oh, they're using the Gambit as the search off of the Brain Surge. It works with Symbiote untapping Land Wars. It was real good when Dingo did it. I just don't think that is it a better mana engine than Heritage Druid in the Elves deck? No. Is it a better engine than Priest of Titania in the Elves deck? I think no. Maybe the answer is yes, but I believe the answer is no. So why are we playing it? It's high on the mana curve, at least high on the mana curve as far as Elves decks are concerned. I just don't exactly understand what it's doing for the Elves deck that's much better. Maybe the card is just so efficient and it's so powerful that it makes the cut and it's good enough. But if that's the case, then you can also just play it in the deck where it's with higher card quality. If your concern is just if you think Cub is just so if Cub is so good that it makes Elves good, Cub is also good enough that it'll make actually good decks good. If that makes sense. I have a snare. And you mentioned not playing going to card shops. Did I hold up to that? I walked in some that were kind of incidentally in our path, but we didn't go to How Are You yet. Just didn't have time. Or it wasn't the highest priority either. Do you feel like they have a Solitude? Do I think Badgermill Cub is a Titan card? No, Titan isn't bound by normal card quad, no. Probably fine time to target the hall, since I'm at 8 and all that. What about earthbending on a ghost quarter? A little bit. Yeah, I think I can flip the Ral. It's a little mini flip here. What I like about flipping the Ral is I can minus on the Teferi, then I can heat the Solitude. Yeah, I think that Dryad Arbor is like the best. Like Dryad Arbor fetch lands. That maybe is all you need with the Cub. I don't know that you really need to be playing anything else, especially with Green Sun being like your Birds of Paradise. Yeah, but I do think Earthbending a Ghost Quarter could be something. Okay, so they have a pending. So no Solitude this turn. Hard to be upset with about that, I guess. Maybe I should have heated first so that I could attack the Teferi. If they have a counter spell for the heat, maybe I'll just attack them. We thought about a shell with Cauldron and Grist. Grist in your Cauldron deck. Amazing. I think I am down to keep another channeler, even though this would give me Delirium. Nobody thought Earthbending was interesting, so they might have messed up making it too powerful. What do you mean nobody thought it was interesting? Where does that point come from? Was that in the negative content creator survey? Just in general, like of all the bendings, Earthbending's not interesting. I think it's my favorite one. Proud Earthbender, Swearing Spike. Don't think there's really a better window to heat. Or I get Delirium too because we know a Channeler's on top, so I get to go just surveil the Channeler in the yard, kill the Teferi, attack with Tamiyo, crack 2 clues, flip the Tamiyo. Not a bad turn. Oh wait, no, they kick the Chan, so I don't get to attack with Tamiyo. Drew another Channeler anyways. Do I want to play this? Probably not. Also halfling turn 2 more plus red and 6. Yeah, maybe. I did let Watsy know I hated Spider-Man because you. Thank you. Someone have Earthbend to Wasteland and older formats, you just get it back. Yeah, people have been talking about. They've been talking. Yeah, I agree Subtlety's well positioned. I'm playing 4 in the challenge deck. We had 3 in our league last night. Or yesterday. Alright. So I think they play 5 basics. Maybe it's 4. 5. The third planes is kind of weird, right? Is that normal? Let's see what they're drawing. Huh. Well, I guess I'm going to go Seek the Beast in my instep here. And then, do we think they're going to Miracle this Terminus? I don't know. I think I'll keep this. So they didn't Miracle the Terminus. Is a storm instead of killing them, you kill all their lands. That's kind of the idea, but you also have like more like general value cards. You're not really playing a storm plan, but you do have some like storm-esque sequences. They put Kahira in their hand. I'm gonna block if they attack, and they don't attack because they realize I'll block, I guess. And they've got an Orm's Chant, pretty good against the Seek the Beast. Now, do I want to draw 2 or do I want to kill the Solitude? I think I like drawing 2 here since this might give me an instant to use the rest of my mana on their turn, which I think is probably valuable enough. Seems like the Manamorphose is free enough to keep. Although they have a counter spell, so I can still play this as a land. Probably saving the Manamorphose for the Questing Druid next turn. A little bit worried about just dying to 2 Solitude attacks. Could Manamorphose now, looking for a removal spell. I just have so much mana. I think it's okay. I guess we'll play that. I guess we'll cast the Druid first. We learned to read the whole Magus card. Maybe I would have read it as I recorded yesterday. That does happen, or tomorrow. That does happen sometimes. We're trying to make it work in Toronto or something. I just thought that Zao triggered off of any counter on it. So maybe they're gonna set up for the Terminus. So I know they have Terminus in their hands, so I guess they just cast Brain Surge. So let's not flame yet, because I think there's a high enough chance they kept it on top. So we got to make that awkward, I think, instead of like killing the Solitude main phase or something like that. It's like Wrath Disguise. Okay. Could Manamorphose first to get the extra Surveil. I think I'm going to hold it. Candle with the 12 months. Thank you. Welcome back. All right. It's going to be a bit too deadly with my 1 life point left. Stupid companions, huh? Maybe I should have just tried to flip the coin. Yeah, let's try to win this game with a coin flip. No, that's against the rules. Don't tell anybody. Maybe win the game is a stretch here. Oh, they Solitude in response pitching Terminus? It's unbelievably nice. I would have died. Okay, and I can try to chump block. You put a Scalding Tarn in the graveyard. Another Brain Surge. So I did definitely have the thought that with Quantum Riddler being so popular, like that is kind of an interesting angle of like Terminus over Wrath Disguise. And like one big problem with Terminus in general is that like Terminus just has been like kind of a less efficient sweeper than Wrath, but also Prowess is really popular and like Steel Cutter's popular. So I don't really necessarily buy that Terminus is like a playable card at the moment, but I did have the thought cross my mind. It seems like maybe your opponent did too. I think with 4 flames, I don't think I get no. They have Teferis and Solitudes. I guess if we just don't care much about Teferi, we play all at sorcery speed. I think I might play a couple Surgicals. Dead to the Companion. The 7-rounder today. Candle with the 1 year. Thank you. Welcome back. I do think, again, this is me kind of getting really weird in preparation for Avatar. Is Zao even good? Don't know. 7 is so much. This is so high. Especially when it can just be responded to and die. Yeah, I misread it. I thought it had any counter on it. So like this is mostly flavor text. But is non-basics lands entering tapped? Like imagine if you played this against Amulet Titan and their Simic Growth Chamber enter tapped. Does it beat Spelunking? Like if you play this after Spelunking, does this win? Magus is just better. We can try it. Well, I think it's not really that comparable to Magus because it's mostly just non-basic lands enter tapped. That's really the only line of text on this card. Literally does not beat Splunking. Right, it says replacement effect and they get to choose either. Okay. So yeah, it does not seem like it does anything, right? Against Titan. Isn't it basically 3 mana Thalia, which is no, Zal costs 2 mana. Does this cost 3 mana? Oh, it's okay. It's 2 mana. Okay. So if I had misread the mana cost too, might be good against Eldrazi. Yeah, it definitely has like some moments, but I don't know. Of course, they have the snare. Not question on judging. Did you plan the vacation honeymoon with the release of the next Magic set in mind? We definitely looked it up. I can't remember. I genuinely can't remember exactly how much that factored in. I do think it factored in some, yeah. We could try to slam the Narset, which I think could be okay, but let's go Channeler Manamorphose Clue Sack, which I think plays better around my opponent maybe having some counter magic here. Try to flip this Tamiyo too. Yeah, but I think we did look it up when like the next set release was. But I don't know if it necessarily would have changed the I think we looked it up after we booked the venue date. I think you're supposed to firebend into but not modern. Yeah, maybe. I mean, there are a couple of firebending cards that are kind of interesting. But yeah, I guess that makes sense. It's a firebending mana sink. The firebending stuff is really cool. Appreciate the honesty. Yeah, I mean, I don't know why it would be something to hide, you know. I think most people when they're scheduling honeymoons and vacations plan around work, right? Okay, so they've imprinted an Orm's Chant. So we need to find a Flame of Anor. So why don't we go minus on Manamorphose, make a mana. Am I going to play the Rao? I think playing the Rao is going to be fine. And make blue-red. Oh, sorry, the Baral, not the Rao. Okay, well, we can still find a Flame of Anor. Brick? Oh, I also mistapped for my Seek the Beast too. Brick on Narset's kind of insane here. Although in some ways it's not a brick because we just bottomed 4 non-flame cards. 27 hits. I guess it's not that out of the question. So it could be good to Seek the Beast now. Oh, they didn't kick the Orm's Chant because they're holding up Counterspell. Then I guess not. All right, so I think I want to shock this in so that I can Seek the Beast and Flame of Anor in this turn cycle here. All right, they keep a card on top. It's an interesting board state. Okay, we found the flame. We can pick this up with the Tamiyo next turn, potentially. If it does get countered. 1 mana counter is kind of rough. Maybe I want to plus the Tamiyo so that I can minus on the Flame of Anor an additional time. Like here, it seems like they're thinking about kicking. Because they just definitely have a counterspell in their hand if they're not going to kick the chant. So I think with that in mind, let's just plus the Tamiyo. You should plus Tamiyo first. I mean, I did plus the Tamiyo. Oh, you're just saying this turn. Yeah, sure. Consult with 5 lands in play. Pretty good. We could also go for the ultimate. It's not out of the question here. Okay, very punished for the plus. Max punished. I think you should replace Ball with Stormcatcher. Ooh. I think that's a good change, yeah. I think we'll play this out. Although maybe that'll be shelved until Avatar actually comes out. Let me see when. Yeah, only 1 match in progress here. Any order's fine. Well, hopefully to flame off the Seek the Beast on their turn. Yeah, just drawing to flame. We do have 3 flames in the deck. Or left in the deck. But I also kind of feel like they have another counterspell, so maybe mostly killing time till round 2 of the challenge starts. Okay, I think we'll probably pivot League decks for between next round. One problem with that is like the other backup deck I have prepped is the Bant Woodlands deck, which one I wanted to like dedicate some more time to, and 2, it's not.